Right. So, when I left off, I was saying this was going to be an amazing build here on this Model 95. And it was, and it's lasted me a couple of months here, and then it dropped dead. Okay, where are we right now? So, I mentioned I had all those cool cards installed, and you may notice there's 2 cards missing now. One, the sound card wasn't going to work for me. It's too directly tied to the RS6000 series to work under DOS or Windows or, well, it does kind of work under NT, but it's such a hack, and, well, I didn't want to use this under NT. The other card that you can see it's missing is that GPIB board. And the reason I had to remove that is not because I couldn't get the support. Well, okay, kind of I couldn't get the support. I knew what ADF file I needed. I knew what the card was and all that. I couldn't find the ADF file. So it was just sitting there without any actual configuration or any sort of setup on it. It was just wasting resources and causing conflicts with the other cards. So I had to remove it. So I don't have sound on this anymore. I actually never had sound on it. And the alternatives right now are incredibly expensive, so I'll just have to keep my eyes open. As you can see, the interposer is now installed, and it was running at 133 megahertz. And it turns out, you can't see it right now because it's actually, let's take it off anyways. We don't need ECC memory to make this work. Oh right, I can't do that because the interposer is in the way. Parity RAM will work. So I have just 8 megs in here right now, and I was working on sourcing more. The CD drive is now fitted in the front of the machine. Now I don't actually have the specific bezel for it, but it's just a piece of cardboard that I've fit around the drive, and it doesn't look that bad. So I'm just sticking with it. And it's a pretty tight fit in there, so it's not like the drive's shifting anywhere. And it works, so. And the 2.88 megabyte floppy drive is in, and thank God it works. I still don't know why it was marked bad, but yeah, we'll just work with that. Software-wise, almost everything was set up. We had MS-DOS on here. We had Windows 3.11 on there for work groups. And on the other side, on the second partition, we had OS2 Warp 3. And that, again, was all set up. And there was actually a utility to use the front display as the LED, or the the hard drive indicator was already loaded, so that was all set. It detected the CD. It really was actually quite painless compared to other systems I've set up OS2 on. But yeah, anyways, everything was good. Things were being set up. Software was being installed. Everything was behaving nice and beautifully. I'm sitting at the desk. I hear this little tink. And I'm like, well, gee, what the hell is... And then it turned off. Just dropped dead and never turned back on. There was no smoke. There was nothing of that sort. It was just dead. So I did a bit of troubleshooting. And indeed, following some service instructions, I can manually force the power supply on. But it doesn't actually turn it on. For some reason, I'm assuming... circuit protection's engaging inside. Now, I've had a couple people say what my problem could be, and the most notable one is someone saying, oh, well, these brands of capacitors are known to be bad, blah, 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 you gotta replace them, it could destroy your power supply, blah, 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 blah. Several things there I want to just kind of question. One, IBM isn't that stupid back in the 90s to be using shitty components in their systems, especially when these are basically servers. Two, if that was the case, we would have been seeing these power supplies drop like flies for the last, I don't know, 15 to 20 years. And we haven't seen that either. And in fact, the only known reports of these power supplies failing are not cleaning them out. If they just get full of dust, they cook themselves to death. And I guarantee you this one's completely free of dust because I cleaned it out as one of the first steps of getting the system. The only other assumption I have here is that there's a transistor or there's something inside that's shorted out or it's blown or something like that, and that's just causing the whole thing to short out. And, well, Now I gotta figure out the magic of a switching delta power supply. Right, I hate power supplies, so we're gonna have to backburner this for a while, or I'm basically gonna have to crash course myself on how to exactly troubleshoot this problem. Or I send it off to someone else to help me. Or there's two other options here. The first one, which is not really favorable, is to find a replacement power supply. But like I said before, these systems usually aren't parted out, so any power supplies I'm going to find are going to be pretty expensive. The second one is, well, forget it. Just throw all the parts into another Model 95 and be done with it. Now, again, I'd like to point out, it took me a number of years to get one machine. I'm pretty sure that if someone told me with a serious look on their face, oh, just get another machine, I'd just start laughing maniacally and then I'd kill them because I would be driven insane by the fact it took me so long to get one of these. So, yeah, we're going to throw both those off the table and just try and see if we can fix the power supply. Other than that, yeah, it was running great.